Have you been hearing the term seller's market a lot lately? Well, right now in our most popular price points, sellers are calling the shots. And what that sometimes means is, depending on you, your personality, and your particular buying situation, it might actually be better to wait. Whoa, right? A realtor telling you not to buy right now? That's crazy. But tune into this episode to hear whether or not this is the right market for you. And don't worry, markets come, markets go. And if you decide to press pause on your home search, you can be pretty confident you won't actually have to wait all that long.
Thanks for tuning in to the Realtor Moms Podcast. I'm Tasha.
And I'm Jamie. We're full-time realtors in the FM and surrounding areas and admittedly average moms. This is how we sell homes.
And try to keep our kids alive.
When would there ever be a time where you would tell a buyer, let's not actually buy a house right now? This just really isn't your time.
Right now is when I'm having these conversations with clients in this market. Today.
Exactly. So our podcast today is really about the current market that we're in, this early summer 2021, and things are hot. The weather is hot. Yes. And houses are moving really quickly. We're going to focus this episode mostly on our kind of average sale price range for the Fargo-Moorhead and even Detroit Lakes sort of metro area markets. And that is, I would say, the high 200s.
High 200s, yes.
So like 250, maybe even up to like 3.25. So that price range.
And we should add that many areas of the U.S. are facing this same exact issue.
Yes,
everyone is. And I shouldn't say everyone. Most places are facing this issue.
100%. Totally true. That seems to be the case no matter where you are. When you're right in the middle of that most sought after price range for your market,
well, you're competing.
There's no
way around it.
Yeah. So, maybe you should not buy a house right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, here's your friendly neighborhood mom realtors saying, are you really sure this is the right time for you?
Maybe you should wait a little bit.
But here's some of the reasons how you can sort of quantify whether or not this applies to you.
Oh, right.
Take it away, Tasha. What's reason number one?
Well, if you are the type of person that needs or wants to look for a deal,
right,
this is not the market for you.
If you are a deal maker, if you are, and that is a great thing. Like, there is nothing wrong with being someone who is like, I'm going to get a deal. Right?
Oh, I love negotiating. I love negotiating,
yes.
But right now is not the market to negotiate. Right now, it's about playing and understanding the market and really looking and taking a few steps deeper to figure out whether it's, what can we do and where can we make our offer make the offer shine to win out over other offers.
I know all you folks out there who are like, oh, I got this great deal on this and I got this great deal on that and I want to get this great deal on a house, and we want you to get a great deal too. But in this particular market, our best advice to you might be to wait, because we're seeing our buyers having to put more on the table, not only just in finances or in money, but in other terms too, which is going to lead us kind of into our next point, number two.
You need to be flexible.
Right.
You need to be flexible about so many things right now. Why don't you start off? Well, why don't you share some of the things we need to be flexible on?
If you're not, so again, kind of going back to this, if you're in it for the deal and you want all the terms to go your way, and you're pretty sticky on some of those terms, that close date has to be exactly this day, or that dollar figure has to be exactly this dollar figure, you're going to lose it. 9 times out of 10, because flexibility is key. We are seeing offers where the buyer is leaving the closing date pretty open-ended. Maybe they're putting in a tentative date, but they're saying, go ahead, seller.
Pick your date.
You can pick the date because we want the house this bad, and this is how we're going to structure this offer to make it more attractive to you. We're going to be flexible, us buyers.
Well, think about it this way. If you're competing against 10 other offers and 5 out of those 10 buyers are saying this to that seller, and the offer on other things like price point can be negotiated, then why would they choose the person who's very stuck on a date?
Right.
They're going to do what's in their best interest and what they're most comfortable with, and that's going to be going with the people that are more willing to give them open-ended options and letting them decide.
Right. So, and even as far as, closing time or closing date, but also right now time and date. If you can't be flexible with your personal time to get out of your workplace to go and run and look at this house that just came up, it could be sold by the afternoon, or it could be sold by the next day,
or your weekend softball, excursions, right. Or nightly volleyball league.
Right. If you can't
be flexible to take a look, that house is not going to be there tomorrow.
No. And as realtors, Tasha and I, we will both, obviously we can't be available 100% of the time, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, but we work in a fabulous office and we work with each other enough that we can get help. So if you call us and you know that we are not available at that particular time, that's okay. Still reach out, because we will find somebody to meet you there to show you that house.
Correct.
So you don't miss out on it. So flexibility in the terms on your offer, and
closing date,
your closing date, and also with your personal time. Unfortunately, if you're unable to be flexible, or that's just not really one of the things, you're a very regimented or scheduled person, which we also respect. But if that's the case, maybe this isn't the market for you. What's next? Number 3, decision-making skills.
I know. Making a decision. If you are one of those people, there's a
very thoughtful,
very analytical, needs time to take the night to sleep on it and weigh all the pros and cons,
or wants to have 2 or 3 options before you make a decision.
This is not the market for you.
This might not be your market. Yeah, we want you to get everything you want, and we want it to go your way. And we want you to be 100% comfortable.
And happy. Yes.
But you may feel rushed, and we don't want people to feel rushed, but that is the reality of the current market, is that most sellers aren't going to wait for you. They're certainly not going to wait for you to get a few options lined up so that you can make a decision.
No,
somebody's going to come along and scoop it up.
Not when there's how many buyers putting in offers on homes.
Right.
I feel so bad. I hate having to tell people that are very much that person that needs a night to sleep on it. I mean, if I can give options for that, or if I can say, well, I can reach out, but I can't make any guarantees an offer won't come in.
Right.
Oh gosh, sometimes I really hate delivering that
you
news, don't
pain
you?
In our voices.
Oh, I know.
We want to be able to give you all these things, but really, understanding what the market is like is at least a big step in the right direction.
And a lot of times what I tell my buyers is, I'm telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
True.
Because I'm not doing my job. I'm not advising you
totally
I'm not advising you if I'm not telling you the truth.
Right. Yeah.
So
no, absolutely. We're not going to tell you, go ahead and go sleep on it, and then in the morning find out that it's
gone.
Sold. I mean, that would be heartbreaking.
Well, let's talk about the 80-20 rule. I mean, I can't, right. I go into this and I say, okay, with everyone, I say, okay, if you can find 80% of what you want, then, in a home, really sit and think, is this the right property? Because you're never going to find 100%. If you find 90% of what you want, I'm going to tell you, make that deal. Write it up. Let's write it up now. Right? Because
it's like finding a partner or a spouse.
Oh my gosh.
Eric, you are my 100%. He's a great guy. But like anything in life, we also have to be able to wiggle a little bit. And when you're house hunting, the 80-20 rule is fabulous.
Yes.
If you can get 80%, you can probably work with the other 20%, or understand too, our own personal preferences change with housing, right? Like
what you want today may not be what it looks like tomorrow.
Exactly. You may want something different. So,
well, the big thing. Well, the big thing too is it doesn't matter, and I will say this time and time again. It does not matter what price point you're in, unless even people that are building, everything comes at a cost.
Right.
So it's incredibly difficult to get 100% of what your wants are in a home.
Right. Unless you got an unlimited budget to do it.
And even if you did have an unlimited budget, why would you want to spend that unlimited budget on a home?
Good point.
Yeah.
All right. What's our last one, our top one, the one that we have to break hearts over time and time again? Unfortunately, it is
cash. It's about the cash. It's about the cash reserves.
And yes, the cash reserves. We're not saying that you have to be a buyer who puts cash down for the entire cost of the purchase.
No.
Gosh, no, that is not what we're saying. But what we're saying is, There's a lot of great loan programs out there, and there are a lot of also beautiful looking advertisements and such that say, get into a house for no money out of your pocket, or that kind of thing. Be very wary of that. We're not saying they're bad programs or anything like that, but if you are coming to the table to purchase and you don't have a significant amount of cash reserves of your own already built up, that's going to work against you in a negotiation.
Yes, it will.
We used to be able to ask sellers to help the buyers out with some closing costs. And in a rare instance, we might be able to get that through. But, talking about this particular podcast and this particular market means that to have the best likelihood for success, asking the seller to pay for anything for you is just going to work against you.
Yes, it will.
Did I miss anything on
No,
that?
no, you didn't. It's just if you ask for cash, or if you ask for seller paid closing costs, if you ask for things that means money out of the seller's pocket,
a lot of times it can cost you the deal.
It will
Whether
cost
it be
you the deal.
up front in the purchase or even at the negotiation point. In some cases, right? It depends. And we're there to walk you through those specific instances, absolutely. But if you are going into this without a pretty hefty cushion in your bank account ready to purchase with, we just don't want you to be disappointed. So
yes, exactly.
that's why this may or may not
Be your market.
be your market. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening. Just think, you could hear from us every day if we were your realtors.
So give us a call or shoot us a text, send a smoke signal, or find us on Facebook. However you do it, just reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And be sure to subscribe. Find more episodes at RealtorMomsPodcast.com or iTunes.
This podcast is produced by Tasha Barrett and Jamie R. Swenson of Park Company Realtors, 4170 41st Avenue South, Fargo, North Dakota.